just tell the room, what is the reality facing girls in Afghanistan? And how does Teach for Afghanistan strive to overcome those?
Yeah, thank you very much. So thank you all for coming here. Uh, Actually, to really know about this, I think we should go back 4 decades ago, what happened in Afghanistan. 4 decades ago in Afghanistan, I mean, women, they used to work, they go to universities, they had their rights, not at a very high level, but they still used to have much better than what they have today. After that, in 1960s, there were several revolutions, several changes in the government, Soviet invasion, and several challenges that came to Afghanistan, and that resulted into 4 decades of war that's still continuing. So the biggest, victim of these decades of war were women in Afghanistan. So the women of Afghanistan, they represent the 55% of the population, so they are the majority, and they are neglected their rights. At some time when the Taliban came, even their whole education was banned. They could not go out, they could not work. It was just completely like no life for them in Afghanistan. The new government came in 2001, and now we are doing much better than that, the enrollment of girls and all. When overall, talking about the challenges, currently in Afghanistan, there are 3.7 million children out of school. So when you compare that to the population of Afghanistan, over 32 million population, so this is really a huge number. Of this, 75% are girls. The attendance of girls or ratio of enrollment of girls is really lower in Afghanistan. Like per each 100 boys, it's 50. So that's very much low. When there's one thing I really want to share with all of you is that when we are talking about the problems of girls' education in Afghanistan and their access to education, so it's really not a lot about infrastructure. It's really not about the poverty. It's really not about the political will and all. It's very much different. The difference is there is political will. They really want to do something for girls, like in percentage in the parliament and everything for the schools and all. The donors, multilateral community, they have one big priority, and that's girls' education. For the people and all, the biggest challenge that we face, as I said, we have faced over 4 decades of war. In Afghanistan, every day we see about 10 and 20 people being killed or died in several incidents and all. Most of these attacks have happened to schools. So it's really not about these challenges, avoiding these girls to leave school or to not attend school or to stay out of school. The biggest challenge in Afghanistan with girls' education is the mindset of the people. It's with the belief. And the beliefs since these 4 decades that has been instilled in their minds that girls cannot achieve anything. They have to be housewives. More than that, if they go to work, if they go to school, and when we are talking about the schools, they have set a limit for them. I mean, when they enter secondary school, they feel it's just enough for them. So those who think of themselves educated, they do teach their children until primary. They say that, okay, now they can read and they can write. That's enough for a girl. We don't allow them to work. They cannot go. The reason is they feel once they will be educated, they are going to work, and that's not a good thing. The work environment is not good. So this mindset. Another mindset that's really not allowing girls to be educated is that why should we let our girls to be taught by a male teacher? And that's all over Afghanistan, this belief is a very strong belief. But as I have discussed and talked with several community leaders and these people, is that we are really talking about a result. That to see all school management will be led by girls, women, qualified female teachers. If you're not allowing your girl to go to school, how many girls will we have to educate from school, and then how many of them will go to university, and then how many female teachers will we have? How many female school principals will we have? So, tackling all these challenges that's very much related to the mindset and belief of the people is not a very easy thing, and that to Afghanistan context. So what really Teach for Afghanistan is doing that? It's through creating local champions and supporting local champions who will be from the same communities, who will be women, who will show to the community that, see, I am a woman, I am teaching, and still I have children or I have my family, I can still get married, I can still have a good life. It's not being bad, and such examples can be followed. Like creating such local leadership is, again, I will say, like, is not through just sending them to the communities. Like, beside teaching that these female young graduates of Teach for Afghanistan who are teaching, like, beside going to the classrooms, they also work hard with the parents of the children. So their best try is always to make the parents understand that, okay, your girl is inside the schools, so she should complete her education. And that's through different ways. These female teachers, they regularly visit with communities, community leaders, and the community people to make them understand that girl education is very much important. It's important for their betterment of improvement of the community, for their own lives, and for whole Afghanistan. And that, again, is not just by saying, it's really going through their own mindset. Because several beliefs that has been instilled during these 4 decades, it's been misinterpreted. I mean, even the religion and all. Like in Islam, it's very much clearly said that education is compulsory for both men and women. So it's for both of them compulsory by the religion. But in a way that it's misinterpreted for the people, they do not follow this. So what we do in Teach for Afghanistan is like going through their own beliefs, really making them understand. Like, we have lots of meetings, monthly meetings with them inside these mosques. They come for the prayers, we join them, we talk with them, we say that, yes, this is what Islam says, this is what the religion you believe, I believe, this is what it says, you will have to follow it. And then connecting it with the local context and beliefs that they do have. And the best way possible, as I just mentioned, like showing them how other women are leading and they are getting educated, and at the same time they are making impact, and at the same time they are still good women, good examples for that. The fellows of Teach for Afghanistan are becoming that example, those examples inside those communities to change these mindsets. Our team, the fellows and all. So whenever I'm talking about girls' education in Afghanistan, it's very much means to the mindset of the people. Like, there are schools where they will have no shelter, there are no desks, no chairs, completely desert. But you'll see lots of children, people going to the school. So it's nothing is stopping them. Neither the poverty knows this school provides a shortage of that and all. So it's big about the mindsets of the people, and that's not really easy thing to change. So that's what Teach for Afghanistan's prime focus is. Beside that, we do also train, a specific training we do provide for the fellows of Teach for Afghanistan, and that's for the female fellows, where how should they behave with the parents, how should they engage the communities, how should they engage the parents, and how should they keep these girls stay inside the school. And that's only happen when these girls, these young girls who are inside the schools, who we know that by the time they reach secondary school, their parents will take them out of school. We make them understand their rights. What are their rights? What are they capable of achieving? What they can do if they receive education. At the same time, to their parents, like if they continue educating their children, their daughters, what expectation they can have from them. Like, as I said, this over 40 years of war in Afghanistan that's still continuing, it took lots of lives. Like, because men, mostly they were like in these wars. So many families, they lost their sons, they lost their fathers and all. So many families are such that they do not have anyone supporting them. They are facing poverty just because there is no one working from the family. So we make them understand like how these girls will be able to help and solve such challenges, and overall like what impact they can bring. And this has worked and it's still working. And the impact that we can see of Teach for Afghanistan is the result of like how we are all, Teach for Afghanistan, the fellows, the alumni, how we are all making this mindset to change and to bring a better impact for girls.
I feel like it's very important to so many people in this room when thinking about what's really holding girls back, it's often mindsets. But that can be a very challenging field to navigate because you're talking about culture, you're talking about religion, You're talking about beliefs. These are not easily changed things, and people are sensitive about them. So I think hearing from you around what that looks like in Afghanistan is really important, because I think a lot of people are probably going to encounter that. If you're new to the work, or if you're in the work, you've already encountered some of that. And in some places, that is the work. The mindset work is a lot of it. So thank you for speaking to that. And thinking about how to support girls to lead. And you touched on this with the importance of having female teachers and what it means for girls and for everyone in the community to see female teachers. But can you talk a little bit more about what a future in Afghanistan will look like when girls are able to lead and have the beliefs and are supported to lead, and how Teach for Afghanistan is striving for that?
Thank you. So obviously, as I said, women represent the largest portion of the population in Afghanistan. They are 55%, who are led by this 45% of men. So obviously, once they achieve their goals, they achieve good education, and they know their rights. So the majority of the population in Afghanistan will be a strong power to change Afghanistan toward a much, much better Afghanistan that we are going to have. For this, I think we need to have lots of great examples as well. And that's what I just say, Afghanistan is creating. And the best thing that obviously, as I just said, there are lots of families who have lost their, the men, their father, brothers and all. So this will really help, overall women in Afghanistan to really have a better economy, better education, much better lives, or at least live a life that God has given them. It's not inferior than others. It's not restricted that where you go, what you should wear, what you should eat, where you should look, should be decided by others. So at least these decisions that are their human rights, these should be given. Another issue is obviously in Afghanistan, obviously when I'm talking about the challenges they face and how neglected they have been. So obviously the yearly marriages, when we talk about so many girls have been killed just because they have asked for their rights. So many of them are being facing such harsh behaviors that are done by their husbands, inside their families, by their father-in-laws and inside. So overall, these all challenges are gonna decrease. The way once these women, once these girls, they know their rights, they know how to raise their rights, and they know the importance of their voice. So this is how I see when we make this thing possible, that all women in Afghanistan, they get educated and they understand their rights. So, and this is how this will really help.